Good afternoon to all the good viewers of this program who are joining us again this week, and all the new viewers who are going to be watching this program for the first time. Allow me to share the link as usual in Telegram for anybody who wants to watch it live, and simultaneously I'll be able to click on it through my phone as well. So that way, if there's any problems, I can see it right away and deal with it right away so that the program can be as smooth as possible for everybody. All right, last week we talked about part 5, and we were talking about Musa al-Kazim, the serial killer, and we left at the point where they said that no one can challenge Musa al-Kazim regarding that the human being is in total control of good and bad deeds, which is not really what he answered, because he gave 3 conclusions on what the question was. And the 3 conclusions is not really the answer. It was just 3 different possibilities that could arrive from the question that was asked of. Well, then, I came along and I showed you a hadith. And because that hadith is a Sunni hadith, you know that the Shias are going to have a problem. They're going to play the game. All the Muslims know the same game, you know? It's like, you know, in sports, you have a playbook, and your coach tells you off this playbook how we're going to play this game today against the other team. And it's based on the weaknesses of the other team, and you're going to be taking advantage of the weaknesses of the other team. Muslims have a playbook. As long as you know what their playbook is, you know their go-to moves, you know how to answer them. And when it comes to dealing with the Muslims, who are the Abduls, because all the Muslims believe they are slaves of Allah, hence they are all Abdul. Abdul means slave, right? They are all Abdullahs and Abdul Hakim and Abdul this and Abdul that and Abdul. And they have to say it in their 5 daily prayers that they are the Abdul of Allah and Abdul of Muhammad and Abdul. So all these Abduls, you know, when you debate with them, you got to be tough with them, okay? You can't debate with them thinking like you're debating with someone who lives in the West. Okay? It's not like 2 Christians that debate each other where you expect the other guy to be honest. If you show him something, you expect him to say, yes, that's what it says. Or if they show you something, they expect you to say, yes, that's what it says. You know, it's not like that dealing with an Abdul. Abdul is like a slippery fish. When you grab a fish out of the ocean or out of a pond or out of somewhere, you know, it's slippery. If you don't hold it really tight and give it all your might, it's going to slip right out of your hand. Abdul is very slippery. And you know, the go-to programs for the Abdul, there's a set of things they do. And unfortunately, most of the people that want to do debates, soft. They think they're debating with each other. People like David Wood, Lloyd, Boston Prophet, you know, and the list goes on and on. Very good people, knowledgeable people. They know their stuff. But when it comes to the Abdul, Abduls run circles around these people. Why? Because they say one thing, Abdul denies. The first go-to play for the Abdul is deny. You tell him a hadith, he'll say, no, that hadith is weak. You tell him another hadith, no, Shia said that, I'm Sunni. You tell him another hadith, no, Sunni said that, I'm Shia. You tell him another hadith, oh no, that one is also weak. You tell him this scholar said it, but that scholar, I don't know, that scholar could be weak. Okay, well, the Quran said this. Man, do you speak Arabic? That's the next play. Do you speak Arabic? I mean, the guy himself doesn't know a word in Arabic. Every word he says it wrong. He has no clue what means what in Arabic. But he'll ask you, do you know Arabic? And then you will turn around and say, well, let's agree to this and that. And let's agree we all don't have the knowledge. And let's agree. He doesn't agree to none of that. He doesn't say yes to any of them. But all this time, you keep putting yourself down. You know, I don't have every answer. You don't have every answer. You don't have every answer. You don't have every answer. What kind of game is this, man? Abdul just running circles around you. At the end of it, Abdul will tell you it was a very fruitful discussion. Very fruitful. Because you admitted you don't know anything, and he admitted everything that you say, it's not worth it. That's how Abduls play. But you have to be tough with the Abdul. You know, when the Abdul tells you, no, I don't agree with this scholar, I don't agree with what that scholar wrote, I don't agree with this scholar, I don't agree with that scholar. The scholar can write anything. That's when you have to tell Abdul, who are you, man? Where is your knowledge from? Which house, Islamic school of studies, like a university, but for Islam? Which house did you come out of? What was the level of education that they signed off on you? You know, what did you become? Did you become a mufti if you're Sunni? Did you become an ayatollah or an ayatollah al-udama, which is a grand ayatollah, if you're Shia? What did you get that you now have the right to say that some scholar from the past, who every scholar today is reading their books in order to learn this Islam, was not right in what they said? Where did you get it, man? Where did you come from? You tell him, Imam Ahmed said this. Well, Ahmed could make mistake. What, my man? 1/4 of Sunni Muslims believe Ahmed is their guy. He's the man. The man. I mean, they name themselves Ahmadiyya, Ahmed. The other one says he's Shafi, from Shafi. The other one says he's Maliki, from Malik. The other one says he's Hanafi, from Hanif. And then the Sunni will tell you, hey, they could say anything. Shia, they have 12 of these imams. But they're all together on one pile, in one bucket. So they can't play the slippery game like the Sunnis do. But when you know what they will tell you, they don't know anything that the imam said. So because they don't know anything that the imam said, if you say anything that this imam said this, they will, no, he didn't. Because they don't know anything. Hey, most of them, well, Shia or Sunni, most of them, like 99.9% with a dot on top and a line on top of that dot. They've never read a book. And if they read, it was more like a booklet, not a book. It was something like maybe 10 pages. And 10 pages, they were trying to explain from A to Z. But you know it can't be done. So really, they didn't learn anything. They just skimmed the titles of topics. None of them really read anything. So they play the game. When you are in front of an Abdul, don't play the game. You hold them. The minute they start telling you, I don't believe this scholar, I don't believe that scholar, you tell them, where did you get your scholarship from? Oh, you didn't get one. Well, then, who are you to pass judgment on what that scholar said? That's how you hold it. It's like someone who's not an engineer starts to talk about what an engineer said and what an engineer said you can't do. Well, I don't agree with the engineer. Well, where did you get your engineering degree from? And you got to know about the topic that he's talking about to his level if you're going to dispute what he's saying. If you don't have that same level of knowledge, you can't dispute it. You hold him to it. You stop him from playing the slippery slope game. Then you pound him down with the proofs from his religion that you want to feed him. That way, when people watch it, you come out the winner because you held your ground. Excuse my French, but don't pussyfoot with them. You know? If you do that, they're going to, you give them a little bit of a fingernail, they'll take it all the way to your shoulder. They'll just yank everything. They'll take. Because they're taught to be aggressive. They're taught to come and deny. The whole game is deny. And then they'll give you a verse that's abrogated. They don't believe in it. And they'll come up with excuses. Excuse after excuse. That's Abdul playbook. So now you know the playbook. So now we gave them a hadith, right? Now we're going to give them another hadith. This is how you hold them. I'm going to show you. This is how you make sure, by holding him, you don't hold him physically. I mean, you don't go to the Abdul and grab the Abdul and say, Abdul, I'm going to hold you against the wall. You don't do that. You hold him with your words. You got to learn how to. We're going to show you that. We're going to make everybody who watches this program an expert at cracking Abduls. Okay? I'm going to show you how you do that. Here's the next hadith. There's the link in blue at the top. Everybody should go ahead and take a picture of that. Save it. Later on, go to that site. Save that site in your computer or wherever you like. Tablet, whatever it is you use. As the British would say, whatever tickles your fancy, go ahead and use it. Here we have Abdullah Darood. He's saying, God's messenger said, Muhammad, human feces. That's his name, Qatam. What can I do? I keep telling you that name, but I got to keep explaining it because every time there's someone new, and then there are some who watch the program, but, they're very nice people. They don't like bad words. So when they hear a bad word, it triggers them. And then you got to keep repeating it so that it'll get through to them because they think you're just insulting, but you're not. You're using the guy's name. I mean, if somebody was named Vomit and you call him Vomit, you're not saying anything bad. You're calling him by his name. The guy's name in Arabic means human feces. His name is Qatam. So, I mean, what can I call the guy? I can't call him ice cream. I have to call him human feces. Okay? Don't hold it against me. I'm not the bad guy here. Tell his father who named him, and then he was born 4 years after the death of his father. Go find his father and tell his father why he named him human feces. 4 years before he came out. Yeah. I mean, he was in there for an awfully long time, man. When he came out, he already had whiskers, according to the books. He had teeth, fully grown teeth. He had whiskers. I don't know if it was a catfish or he was a human being, but man, 4 years in the womb. Must be something. No wonder he's a prophet. Back to this hadith. He reported, the prophet of God, this Atta Muhammad said, God created Adam, the first human. When he created him, he struck him on his right shoulder, shoulder, and brought forth his offsprings white like small ants. And then he struck him on his left shoulder. and brought forth his offsprings black, as if they're charcoal in color. Graphic, you know. Ah. Something, right? They were black, man. They were black. Like this. You see this color black? You see how black it is? Black. Man, they came out of the left shoulder. I mean, you wonder why today all these woke people, they tell you that men can give birth. I mean, you know, you keep saying they can't, but hey, the first human, Adam, gave birth to all of his offsprings from his two shoulders, man. Don't you know men give birth from their shoulders? Adam did, according to Islam, right here. What happened? What happened? Then he said, he who? He, Allah, the God of Islam, the party on the right side, you know, the ones that were white like little ants, to paradise. And I don't care. Huh? You can be KKK. Allah doesn't care, man. You're going to heaven. You can be Hitler. Allah doesn't care. You're white. You're going to heaven. You can be Alexander the Great and be a bisexual and killer of people left, right, and center and invading the world. Allah don't care. You're white. Why do you go to heaven? And then what? He said, the party of the left shoulder, you know, the charcoal, the black, to hell. And I don't care. You could be like Booker T. You could be a brain surgeon. You could be anybody. But you are black and you're going to hell. And Allah does not care. 20% of the Muslims today are from Africa. And we're not talking about the Northern Africans. No, we're talking about the black African. You know, from places like Congo, Somalia, Eritrea, Sudan, Ethiopia, and the rest of Africa, like Cameroon, Nigeria, and so on and so on and so on, Gambia and the rest. Yes, I know my African countries. All of you are doomed to hell. And Allah does not care. He created you for hell. And He don't care. And most of you, from those same countries I named, like 95% of you, are Sunni. This is a hadith from your own books, authentic. And look. You can't play the, oh, this is the da'if. Da'if, it's a weak hadith. It's a weak hadith. The grade for this one is Isnad Hasan. And on this side, they also called it Sahih. Hasan meaning good. Sahih meaning good. It's good. What you gonna do about it? You live in Ivory Coast. You read this. What you gonna do about it? What can you do about it? By the way, this didn't come from the website of Dr. Mossavat. No. This came from Sunnah.com, your own source. I had nothing to do with it. We go to the next one. Sunnah.com is the source. Ahmad. Ahmad. Look what he says. Musnad Umar bin Khattab. And you know, the Shia, they're going to say, the last one was a Sunni hadith. It wasn't with us. We don't believe in that one. We don't believe in it. Yeah. For us, the Shia Muslims, Allah doesn't care about your color. No. We don't believe in that. They lie to you. They lie to you. Iranians, Iraqis, Bahrainis, 40% of today's modern day Pakistan, which actually was Iranian land that the British stole. Azerbaijan, the country, which is really the province of Yerevan, belonging to Iran, which the Russians stole. We got a lot of thieves out there. They all believe in that. And I'm going to show you the proof right now. Musnad Omar bin Khattab. The Shias, they hate Omar bin Khattab. All Shias hate Omar bin Khattab. I mean, they read Ziyarat of Hussein, Ziyarat of Waratha, Ziyarat and Ziyarat and Ziyarat. They have Ziyarat for everything. And every single of these Ziyarats is a long little booklet of Arabic words that they read that 99% of them do not understand, because majority of the Shias are not even Arab. They're Iranian, or they're Pakistani, or they're Azerbaijani today. None of them speak Arabic. And the ones that do speak Arabic, they're not really interested in really reading it anyway. You got a few old people that sit there and read it, and all the kids are out there smoking. But you see, there's a problem. Umar bin Khattab is the father-in-law of Muhammad. One of his daughters, Hafsa, is the wife of the Prophet. So the Shia stuck with her. Umar bin Khattab is the father of the mother of Muslims, because the wives of Muhammad are the mother of Muslims. But that's the smallest part. You see, there's two bigger problems. Allah copied Umar bin Khattab 6 times when he was writing his Quran. Umar bin Khattab would say something, Allah would then say exact same words to his Prophet Jibreel, who would come along and say that to Muhammad. And Muhammad would say, this is the part of Quran. The two biggest problems for all Muslims, including Shia, is number one, hijab. It was Umar bin Khattab who used to say to Sauda, the Prophet, ha ha ha, we see you, every time she went to do number 2, and then told the Prophet, punish her by making them cover themselves. What decency, they go outside into the bush to go in the, I mean, what bush was there in the middle of a desert? I mean, where are you going to go? You're in a desert. Wherever you go, someone will see you. So to punish Sauda for wanting to go do number 2 and having to remove clothing to do number 2, the decree came down that women have to cover themselves. So until today, all the women have to wear the hijabs and the burqas and the chadors and the everything and the niqab and the all of that, because Sauda, the wife of the Prophet, had to be punished. And Allah agreed with Umar. The second biggest problem all Muslims have, including the Shia, when they were all praying towards Jerusalem with the Jews, Omar decided, no, we can't have that. And they had to change the direction of the prayer to the direction of the idol worshippers. And Allah came down and said, oh, through Jibreel, of course, yes, Muhammad, you have to change the direction of the prayer. And he agreed with Umar, we have to pray in the same direction as the people that worship idols and stones, the Kaaba. But let's see what happens here. It was narrated to Muslim bin Yasser al-Juhani that Umar bin Khattab was asked about this verse. This verse. The verse meaning the book that all Muslims agree that Allah wrote, with his pen. Allah wrote this book, then told it piece by piece to his favorite angel, Jibreel. And Jibreel kept coming down and going up, going down, going like a yo-yo. He was a yo-yo, He kept having to, verse by verse. He had to go back to heaven and come back to earth. Go back to heaven, come back to earth. And he had to give these verses to Muhammad. So which verse are we talking about today? Well, the name of the chapter is Al-Araf. It's chapter 7. And the verse is 172. And Omar said, I heard the messenger of Allah. But before that, let's read what this verse is. And remember, when your Lord brought forth from the children of Adam, from their loins. So that's the verse. Allah brought forth the children from the children of Adam through his loins. Your loins is your shoulders is your loins. Okay? And your loins is actually your backbone. This is science, ladies and gentlemen. We're teaching you science. Islamic science. They tell you the Quran is full of scientific miracles. Scientific. This is scientific, man. Your shoulders are your loins, and your loins is your backbone. Don't disagree with Islam. Hey, you, don't laugh. I see you laughing over there. Come on now, don't laugh. You think you see me and I can't see you? I can see you. I'm Dr. Mossavat. Come on now. After all, I'm father of the sun, while Amir al-Mu'mineen is father of the earth. Okay? By sun, I'm talking about the sun. The one that you look in the daytime and it's yellow. I'm the father of the sun, man. If anybody can go and name claim to any earth or anything, well, I want the biggest and the best. So I take the sun. The sun of our atmosphere, by the way, because the other ones are red. I don't really like the red ones. They're small, I like the yellow one. It's big. Okay. So yeah, now I'm father of the sun. So every time the rays hit you and you feel warm, remember to thank me because it was my creation. Okay, that was my child. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, that the Shias love, he was father of this earth. Okay. Oh boy. As long as he can claim, I can claim too. You can claim too. Jupiter is still open. Uranus is still open. The Mercury is still open. Mars is still open. Anybody who wants to take one of those, you can do it, definitely. Back to here. The commercial time is over. So he said, I heard. Who said? Umar bin Khattab. I heard the messenger of Allah being asked about this. And the messenger of Allah said, Allah created Adam and he passed his right hand. Who? Allah passed his right hand. Allah has a right hand. Okay? He passed his right hand over his loins. Whose loins? Adam's loins. And brought forth from him his offsprings. Okay? He took the sperm out, I guess. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Okay, give him that. I could say something. It starts with an H. And then the second part of that word is job. Okay, he did that, and the kids came out. Yeah, it's adult rated. So what can we do? We have to tell the truth. What he's describing it. Allah took his hand, went to the loins, and did something, and the kids came out. You think about it. What did he do? If you can't remember, ask your wife. She will show you in the bedroom. Okay? Women know these things. So go and ask them. They will tell you all about it. They know it very well. And then what happened? Brought them forth as offsprings and said, who said? Allah, the God of Islam. I have created these for paradise. and they will do the deeds of the people of paradise. Okay. Then he, Allah, passed his hand, he has another hand, over his loins and brought forth from him his offsprings, his other loins, because, men have two loins, the shoulders are your loins. Come on. But I mean, we just covered it in the previous hadith. You thought he was doing the one that starts with the H and ends with a job down there? No, it's done up here. Come on, people. Catch up with the Islamic program here. Tomorrow they're supposed to come and invade your countries like they're doing in France and everywhere else. You got to know these things, or else they're going to chop your head off. At least know these things so you can pretend you're one of them, save your life. Teaching you valuable stuff here, Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't kicking them out. You're not doing anything to them. You're not putting them into mental hospitals. You're not telling them anything. You're not taking these things to them and telling them, Abdul, stop being an Abdul. You're letting them run amok in your countries. You're letting them do all these crazy stuff. Tomorrow they're going to come out with the machetes. I mean, if you know this, you can save yourself. Just saying. So then what did he do? He said, I have created these for hell, and they will do the deeds of the people of hell. A man asked the messenger of Allah, why should we strive to do good? I mean, if we're going to be destined to something, why we have to force ourselves to, pray 5 times a day, fast during the month of Ramadan, give to charity, go for Hajj, walk into the washroom with your left foot. That's what he's asking them, Prophet. Why should we do all this? Why all this hardship? Why? The Messenger of Allah said, when Allah created a person for paradise, he caused him to do the deeds of the people of paradise until he dies doing one of the deeds of the people of paradise. And he is admitted to paradise thereby. Meaning, you could be a person who doesn't want to do what Islam deems good. Rather, you want to do all bad. You want to be part of the KKK. You want to be a Satan worshiper. You want to be sadistic. I mean, you want to go around skinning cats and dogs and chickens and whatever else you find. You want to go and throw poison in the water stream, destroy stuff. And, you might be the guy who goes crazy and takes a gun or something and starts shooting people at a music festival like Hamas did. Huh? You might do something like that. Who cares? You might be Hitler. You might turn into the next Hitler. Send people in crowds to the crematorium. Before you die, Allah, the God of Islam, is going to force you, it's going to twist your arm and force you to do one good deed. Based on that deed, to heaven you go. Why? Because you white. Whitey go to heaven. I mean, there's the best religion for the KKK. If you're one of those people that believes your color of skin being white is head and heels above everybody else, how can you not love this religion? I mean, this religion will give you an endless penis. This religion will give you little babies, girls and boys, to F. This religion will give you many, many women. And on top of all that, there are the Huriyain, which are like mixed breed, hybrid breed between angels and human beings. You're going to have them as well. And then, of course, Allah's going to bring you women from hell as well for you to F as well. It's endless. You can do all the effing you want in this religion. But back to the text here. Oh, and then he says, and when he creates a person for hell, he causes him, Allah, causes him, the person, to do the deeds of the people of hell until he dies doing one of the deeds of the people in hell and is admitted to hell there. Meaning you can be the best Muslim in the world. Pray the 5 daily prayers on time, never miss a prayer. Pray the not mandatory prayers, which is another 54 records altogether. You pray that every day too. Don't miss any of them. Don't be late. Fast the mandatory Ramadan. Fast throughout the year on the other days of fasting, which are not mandatory. Go to Hajj during the time when it's not for Hajj, but also go to Hajj Tamattu when it's time for Hajj. Go to your ziyarats if you're a Shia, and do all the stuff you want to do. If you're a Sufi, go and do your little dance inside your church and all of that crap. And say that when the lightning comes, Sufis, hey, Sufis, all of you who are Sufi, some of you requested me to talk. The Sufi believe that every time there is a lightning, Jibreel is taking out his whip and he's whipping the clouds. Man, this Jibreel, he has so many jobs to do, man. All over this world, there's lightning going on everywhere else, and there's rain, and this Jibreel is there all day whipping clouds. He's, you saw the movie Catwoman, and she used a whip. That's Jibreel. He's up there in the sky, and he's just whipping clouds all day. Like as if the clouds did something wrong. Now you gotta whip them. In Islam, you whip when people do something wrong. These clouds are all doing bad things. Jibreel is whipping them. And then you call yourself Sufis. You believe in Jibreel whipping the clouds all day, all night. He's just there whipping away, whipping. He has nothing better to do. I mean, he's the leader of all the angels. They have supposedly the angels go to war. They go to war against who nobody knows, but they go to war. What, you thought war is only on this planet? No. Heaven also goes to war. And if you're thinking they go to war against Satan, which is Shaitan, you're mistaken. Shaitan is here going to war with you, okay? All of his jinn, which are supposedly the fallen angels in Christianity, which are considered demon over here, the jinns, all the jinns are here. Okay, they're not the ones fighting against these angels. Nobody knows who the angels are going to war against. But Jibreel is their general. He's their number one guy. He's the leader. But he has no emphasis on this war. He's spending his whole day whipping clouds, okay? That's all he's doing. He's whipping clouds. And, man, Sufis, man. If there's anything funnier and stupider than the beliefs that Sufis have, oh boy. Back to the tafsir of Omar, because when you are now explaining the Quran, you give what is called a tafsir. Okay? Commentary would be the word for it in English. I'm teaching you the correct terminology because a Muslim's playbook, the Abdul, is to pull these words on you. And when you don't know the words, then he'll catch you in a, aha, gotcha. You don't know what you're talking about because you don't know the word tafsir. But you will tell him, Abdul, the tafsir is commentary. We're talking about the commentary. But because you didn't know it in Arabic, aha, he got you. Now you can't be trusted because you didn't know the word tafsir, okay? That's how Abdul play. So now you know, Omar is giving the tafsir of this word. So back to what we were talking about. You're going to hell. Here's the Arabic of it. The grade for this, now look how they play with you. Sahih because of corroborating evidence, and da'if. How did it become da'if, which is weak? Well, he's explaining the Quran, so his commentary is weak. But it is Sahih, which means it's good. It's a little better than good. Because it corroborates with the other hadith, which was up here, which had a rating of Hasan and Sahih. There is Sahih, and there is Hasan, and here is Sahih. Did you notice how they play with the word Sahih? Here, they wrote Sahih for you in Arabic. Ladies and gentlemen of the speaking English world, those of you who speak English, you will miss this word Sahih in Arabic when you go to that site. You will not understand that word. You will not catch it. You will see Hasan, but when you see Hasan, you will not know what it is. This Hasan, you might think it's a name because you heard people that maybe live in your town were named Hasan. But this Hasan has a meaning. It's not like words in English which has no meaning. You ask somebody, what's your name mean? I don't know. How did you come up with the name? I don't know. Where did you get the name? I don't know. You ask him, I don't know. Biblical names have meanings. Arabic names have meanings. Persian names have meanings. Hindi names have meanings. You see that part of the world, when they have a child and they name it, that name has a meaning. You know, so they name it so that with just the name alone, that child can have some kind of respect already. You know, respect is a big deal for that part of the world. They like to respect each other, you know. Yes, they lie, cheat, and steal, and backstab each other and all of that. But as far as their culture, respect plays a big deal. And the more respect you can gain, the better off you will be. So respect is a big deal. It's up there with money. Okay? But they play with you. They tell you here in Arabic, Sahih. And here they'll say that to you in English. So you'll catch this one, but you'll miss what is the corroborating evidence. But if you knew the Arabic word and you can read it and understand it, and then you read the English word, now you can connect the two together. Now by connecting the two together, now you understand what's corroborating with what. And hence now you know what is the da'if. Da'if is the commentary of Omar. Who's saying that Omar is da'if? It's not the Shia. Sunnah.com, Sunni site. Sunni site says Omar is weak. Why is Omar weak? Because you're not supposed to show the big problems in the book of Allah. And here, Omar is being honest. Omar is telling you what this verse means. And this is a big problem because now the Muslims say that whatever is in the book of Allah is from God. They can't get around it. They can't play that slippery slope like a fish. They get put in a corner. They can't tell you, well, the Quran, I don't agree with the Quran. No, you don't agree with the Quran, you're no longer a Muslim. Now you put Abdul in a corner like we talked about. You gave him a hadith, and the Shia told you that was a Sunni hadith. We don't believe in it. Oh, the Prophet being hit on the shoulder, because Adam was a prophet too. Being hit on the shoulder, right side, left side, this side, that side, white people, black people. Oh no, that was a Sunni one. But then the Quran agrees with it. And Omar gives you the commentary of it. And Allah agrees with Omar. Now we go further deep. Now we held Abdul in a corner. And now we're going to crack the Abdul. You're going to learn how you do that. Here we go. Here's the next link from the Quran. It's the 14th chapter, Surah Ibrahim, Abraham. Verse 4. Here's the Arabic version. And here's the English translation for you. We have not sent a messenger except in the language of his own people to clarify the message, which means for you, the English-speaking people, Allah, the God of Islam, has to send you an English-speaking prophet. For those of you in the French part of the world, Allah has to send you one who speaks French. For you in India, man, good luck. I mean, so many languages you got going on over there. You got Tamil going on over there. You got Hindi going on over there. You got Pashto going on over there. You got Punjabi going on over there. You got Urdu going on over there. I mean, you got so many that I even have missed to tell you that you got so many, man. You need so many prophets. Same with you in China. You got Mandarin, Cantonese, and there is a few smaller ones. Iran's got a bunch of different dialects too, so you all need one for each one of those guys. And the list goes on and on and on. Oh, man, you guys need a lot of prophets. Apparently, they all came and nobody knows. Especially, it's funny when there is a language that came after Islam, but the prophet came before Islam, So, I mean, like English. There was no English 1,400 years ago. The people in England didn't even speak English. They were the natives in England. Who knows what they spoke? And then there was the Vikings that was coming and raping them. Then years passed and they kind of merged the languages and you got whatever English it is today. And more than 2/3 of the countries that exist today, they did not exist at that time. For example, we had Rome. Rome was Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, Italy, the Baltics, Germany. That was Rome. And then it broke apart after Islam. Then everybody had their own language. The French started speaking French. Portuguese started speaking Portuguese. Spanish started speaking the Spanish. Italy started speaking all three. The other one was talking, Belgium is talking 3 languages. I mean, Germany speaks 3 different languages. Where they come from? But you all had your prophets before Islam, okay? The prophets came and spoke languages that didn't exist. And then afterwards, the people started speaking the language. Is there anything stupider than that? You tell me. But anyway, put that aside. That's just half of this. Why did they come to speak your language? To clarify for you the message that Allah had, okay? So there is a God. His name is Allah. Mr. Allah is sitting there somewhere in heaven. Then he sends you a messenger, okay? His messenger comes to you. Yes, you. I know, I see you over there. You're sitting there watching me, and I'm watching you. He told you the message in your language, okay? After you understood the message and you wanted to follow the message, then Allah leaves whoever wills to stray and guides whoever he wills. And he, Allah, is almighty, all wise. Did you catch it? So first, he sent you a message. The messenger told you what the message is. It became clear for you to follow the message. And then You wanted to follow the message, and some of you decided, I don't know if I want to follow that message. And then what did Allah do? Instead of guiding the one that didn't follow the message to follow the message and helping him out, because he's a little slow. I mean, some people are slow. All of you did not become the number one guy in class when you were in school. Some of you were the last in class. I mean, ask Joe Biden. He was last in class all the time. And look, he's a president now. So you see, even you can be a president if you're last in class. But all of you can't be first in class, of course. All right? But here, instead of helping the last in class, which was what you would expect, no, Allah pushes them further back. Makes him even dumber. He turns them into really Joe Biden. And this is because Allah is wise. You see, you only help the one that's already going through. And it's like you're a tutor, but the only kids you tutor are the ones who are already getting all the questions right on the test. Yeah. You did a great job with that tutoring. I mean, the kid already knows it. What you going to tutor him on? You tutor the one that fails. Not Allah. Allah doesn't tutor that one. He encourages him to fail more. Surah Ibrahim, verse 27. Allah makes the believers steadfast with the firm word of faith in this worldly life and in the hereafter. And Allah leaves the wrongdoers astray. For Allah does what He wills. It's not your will, it's Allah's will. Allah helps the believers stay fast on the word. And the one who's praying and the one who's fasting and the one who's already doing everything, Allah's with him. He's helping him. Oh, yeah, do it. And the one that did something wrong, Allah guides him astray, tells him to do even more wrong. What's the difference between Allah and Satan? Satan wants you to do bad. And when you did the bad, Allah joins Satan and says, yes, do more bad. Isn't that what a God is supposed to do? Ask yourself the question. And then when you tell the Abdul, now that you got him in the corner, hey, your God is Satan, and he says, for Allah does what He wills. It's not the will of the human being, it is the will of Allah. Your will is not stronger than Allah. Allah will override you. For example, you have a dog in your house. Your dog wants to run around, wants to do what dogs do. And dogs play by biting stuff. But you decide, you, the owner, you're going to put the dog in the crate. The dog's will was to run around and play. But your will was for the dog to go in the crate. And what happens? The dog ends up in the crate. You override your dog's will. Allah in Islam will override the will of the people. Got it? I know you did, because you guys are smart. You're not like Allah and His Muslims, the Abdul. Okay, we're on verse 33. I should say chapter 33, verse 36. There's the Arabic and here's the English. It is not for a believing man or woman. Okay, it is not for a believing man or woman. So you, when Allah and His messengers decree a matter, who? Allah and His messenger, which is Muhammad. When Allah and Muhammad sit at the coffee table and they decide on something for you to have any other choice in that matter, you have no choice. Whatever Allah and Muhammad decided at the coffee table, you're going to do. It's like a husband and a wife. They sit down at the kitchen table, kid sleeping in the bedroom. And they decide, you know what? Tomorrow it's going to be really cold. We're going to make sure the kid wears like 6 shirts and a thick coat. Because after school, you're not picking him up. I'm not picking him up. He has to wait. I got to work a 12-hour shift. You got to work a 12-hour shift. We'll pick him up at the end. Poor kid has no choice. When he wakes up, he's got to wear all that clothing that you decreed. You're going to put him to school. When school finishes, he's going to have to sit at the doors until you come and pick him up. Kid has no choice in that matter. The kid can't come and override you and your spouse at the coffee table, the kitchen table. Can't come and say, Mom and Dad, I decided I'm not going to go to school tomorrow. You guys go ahead and go do your 12-hour shifts. I'm going to sit here and play them video games. No, sorry, Bob, that's not how it works. Now you got the idea? We go to the next surah. This is chapter 61, Surah As-Saf, verse 5. There's the Arabic and here's the English. Remember, O Prophet. Which Prophet? Prophet of Islam. Who's talking? Allah. Allah is telling his Prophet at the kitchen table. Remember, Prophet. When Moses said to his people, oh, my people. Oof. I think he might have been somebody else. You know, there was another doctor in America who also said, oh, my people. You guys will go and do your homework and find out. Why do you hurt me when you already know I am Allah's messenger? If only Moses had said that. I mean, Moses has never heard the word Allah before in his life. Moses had a God named Yahweh, also known as Jehovah, also known as Jesus. Allah does not exist in the Bible or the Torah. But Muslims think Allah exists in the Bible and the Torah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So when they persistently deviated, Allah caused their hearts to deviate. For Allah does not guide the rebellious people. Man, oh man. You have a dog in your house. This is an example. I'm not saying you do. I know you don't. But let's just say, in this example, you have a dog in your house. Okay? You go to work. Your dog runs amok in your house. Tears the walls. Chews on the cords. Destroys whatever's on the table by wagging its tail. It even barks and hits the windows with his paws and ends up breaking the window. You come home and it's a disaster. And you're trying to pull out your hair, but like Dr. Mossavat, you shaved your head and you got no hair. That part was a joke. Even if I don't joke about myself with you guys and you guys with me, then who are we going to joke about, right? Let's make it a little easy. This happened. Now, instead of you coming up with a game plan to take out the mischievousness of your dog, possibly putting it in a crate, you decide you're going to do what Allah does. Because this poor dog in your mind did something wrong, you're going to come home and say, good boy, good boy, good boy. And you're going to encourage the dog. The next time you come home, the dog will destroy your whole entire house and leave you nothing but the foundation. And then you will say, I do not train a dog that does mischief. And when you say that to people and you explain what happened, every single person you told that to will think mentally you need to be checked because something's wrong with you. That is exactly what this God of Islam, Allah, told this prophet. When people do something bad, I encourage them. I put it in their heart to do more. And when they do more, I don't guide them because they did bad. In contrast, when you look at it inside of Christianity, Jesus was walking and people were coming to see him, and he would wave his hand to them and say, you're all healed, go on with your business. He walked by the temple, the synagogue, and he saw a man who's blind, and he's on a little, like a mattress of a bed that was made for him on the floor. And the guy was paralyzed. And he said to him, get up, pick up your blanket and your mattress and go home. And the guy was laying there because he was hoping that when people go to the synagogue, the temple, they can drop some money for him. Maybe the rabbis will help him out by buying some food for him and some clothing for him with that money. But when Jesus told him that, he picked up his blanket and stuff and started walking and started yelling. He said, I'm healed. I can see. I have my arms. I got my legs. I'm no longer a quadriplegic. I'm walking around. And when people say, who did it? And he says, I remember his voice. It's that guy pointing to Jesus. And people said, this guy's doing miracles of God. Jesus turned around and told them all. Is it easier for me to forgive your sins or to tell him to pick up his stuff and walk? And they all said, this guy says he's God. He's forgiving our sins. Jesus was forgiving sins, whereas Allah is saying, I will make the guy do more sins. And that's how you can tell him, Jesus is the God, not this Allah. This Allah is Satan. There's no difference. What does Satan do? Promotes to you to do something bad. And then he'll come back and promote to do something bad again. What does Allah do? He tells you to do bad and do more bad. What's the difference? I don't see any difference. They're on the same team. And then we go to the next verse. This is also Quran, by the way. Chapter 2, Al-Baqarah, the cow. I mean, the whole Quran is a zoo. You got spiders in there. You got the ants in there. You got the cow in there. You got the elephant in there. I mean, if there's a chapter that doesn't have an animal name, you're sure to find the animal in the chapter, like Ma'idah, the table. Jesus had some disciples that walked with him. Each one of them, they had a stomach the size of a country, man. Every time they were hungry, Jesus had to bring whales for them to eat because, they can't just eat like a normal, but they had to eat whales. You know how big your stomach is to you fit a whole entire whale in there? And these guys were hungry all the time. That's why they were all fishing. They were fishing because they were trying to catch the whales. Inland fishing for whales. Man, Islam really has knowledge, man. Let me think about it. Which lake or pond do you know which is surrounded by land from every side, and it has whales in it? You come on. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Second chapter of the Quran, Al-Baqarah, verse 272. We will end with this one because, as usual, I forget to look at the time. So I know it's more than an hour. You, Muhammad, Because Allah is talking to Muhammad. You are not responsible for guidance, oh Prophet. Means the Prophet, you washed his hands. He's not responsible for guiding you. He is a prophet. That's not his responsibility. I mean, if his responsibility was to guide you, how can he do his pedophile business with little Aisha? How can he do his pedophile business with the so-called daughter of his own Fatima? He needs time. Can't be responsible for guidance to you. Come on. Don't cut into his pedophile time. It is Allah who guides whoever He wills. So it's not your will to do good deeds or bad deeds. It's Allah who guides whoever He wills. Whatever you believers spend in charity. Oh, we're talking about the money. Money. It is for your own good, as long as you do so seeking the pleasure of Allah. Whatever you donate will be paid back to you in full, and you will not be wrong. Here, the wrong, he's not talking about like when you walk and then in the movies a brick falls on your head or a piano and you die. That's not what we're talking about. That's not the wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember what we taught you. In the previous sessions, we were talking about Ja'far al-Sadiq. And Ja'far al-Sadiq, in the letter that he had with the people that were going and invading other Muslim lands and taking what was belonging to them, and they were asking Ja'far al-Sadiq if they should give him something. Ja'far al-Sadiq said, everything you get, money-wise, everything you get as far as booties, the slave girls that you collected now, slave boys that you collected now, the gold that you took, the silver that you took, the clothing that you took, the animals that whatever you gained, divided into 5, 1/5 belongs to Allah. So you have to give that to Allah. How are you going to give it to Allah? You got to give it to the Prophet or the Ahlul Bayt. 1/5 is for the Prophet. Where are you going to give that to? You can't give it to Jimbo Bob on the side of the street. No, you got to give it to the Prophet. 1/5 is for the Ahlul Bayt, the family of the Prophet. Here, we're not talking about his wives. No, talking about his descendants. And then 1/5 is for the poor, and 1/5 is for the needy. And you can't just go and give it to the poor or the needy. You got to give it to the Prophet. You give everything to the Prophet. It's the Prophet who decides who's the poor and the needy, and how much of everything should go to that poor or the needy. So as long as you give everything to the Prophet and his family, then you will not be wrong. So what is the wrong? The wrong here is being labeled as someone going to hell. Someone who's devious. Someone who Allah has put in their heart to be bad. Because when the Prophet points to you and says you are devious, you are against God, now the crime has to be punished with death. Hence now you have to be killed. Whatever you own, they will collect and give back to the Prophet. That's why today you have Ali Khamenei, the cockroach, the crooked, disabled cockroach, spiritual leader of Islamic Republic of Iran, going around committing genocide on the Iranians, taking what belongs to them, and saying that they are now charged with the labeling of a charge of muharib, meaning going to war with God. Hence, they all have to be hanged and killed. And whatever belongs to them goes to the government of Iran, which is under the hand of spiritual leader Khamenei. So he takes everything, kills you and takes what belongs to you, and says you went to war against God. He's doing it from this verse right here. Most of you don't know. Taliban uses it the same way. Taliban is Salafi Muslim from the Sunni sect. Ali Khamenei is Shia Ithna Ashari. They hate each other, but they love each other. And everybody else uses the same thing. Hamas uses it too. When they attacked the Jews, they did exactly what this verse is saying. You have to give them everything. And if you do, you will not be wrong. You have to donate everything to them. That's where the whole saying, from the river to the sea, same thing. Give us everything, and we won't do anything to you. Give us everything, including your underwear, and you leave naked. Get out. Go to Canada or United States naked and give everything to us. River to the sea. It all will be ours. That's what Hamas says. It's coming from this verse. It's right in front of you. But most people, they don't read. And it's not you, the English viewers. I'm talking about the Muslims themselves. The Abdul, they don't read. 99% of them have never read anything. And if they did, it was a small little booklet that just summarizes the titles of topics. Doesn't really tell you anything. They listen to a Mulana, some clergyman who sits on a member, which is a special type of chair. And that clergyman will lie and tell them whatever he has in his mind that has nothing to do with the religion anyway. Because that clergyman himself doesn't really know the religion. And then that Abdul will come to you, and he has nothing but the slippery slope game of this is daif, weak. That is not accepted, it's daif. That scholar we don't know. This scholar, well, times change. Times change. If times change, that means Allah's message to you should also change with the time, because you're rejecting the message. Which would mean that there would have to be endless amounts of prophets. Which means that you believe that there should be another prophet after Muhammad. That's how you answer them. Which means you've left Islam. When they give you a little thing like that, you have to think about what they said and wash that through Islam and come up with the answer of it through Islam. And then you use that to hit him in the head with so that you can create shock in him or her. And during that shock period, you can make that person for a second understand the flaws in their religion. And if that person is truly someone who's God-fearing, they will start to question their own words. And they'll be more susceptible to listening to you and learning from you and possibly being guided. So use what I'm teaching you. I know I go on and I tell you all these little things here and there, but when you put them all together, it makes perfect sense for you. So until next week, I'll leave you in the hands of Jesus. Don't forget to press the subscribe button, share our programs, like our programs. It only takes a button with your finger, like 1 second to do that, But we need you to do that so that we can use your help in reaching more people. Leave comments after the program, and I leave you in the hands of Jesus. Till next week. Bye for now.